Good day everyone, welcome to the How to Halo Reach ODST web series. This is of course tutorial part 4. My name's Andrew DFT, and in this tutorial we're going to be focusing on the ab plate and the butt plate. Two sections that will just sit on your costume nicely and add a bit more detail to the costume overall. So if I was to rate this build, I would give it a 3 out of 10. It's actually really not that hard. The only difficult parts, I guess, would be scoring and actually transferring the template lines onto the design and keeping it somewhat symmetrical. But I'm thinking that's enough intro for one day, so let's jump straight into that video. Alright, so step 1, print off the templates needed for the tutorial. Very easy and very important step. If you don't have the templates, you can't follow along. What you can do then is grab the central templates that you can see on screen, which will of course be the lower ab armor. Then you can grab some masking tape and tape those two pieces together. Once we've done that, we can transfer it to the EVA foam with the nice outline, and then of course grab your nice sharp new blade and cut out said piece of foam. What you can then do is grab your nice heat gun and really heat this foam up. You're going to really want it to bend in multiple directions so it can form around your stomach, whether that be a nice hard six-pack, which I don't have, or a nice rounded stomach. Either way, it should be perfectly tailored to whatever you have as your central core area. And what we can do then is grab the two templates and actually cut them in half, so we have a top and a bottom section, which we'll do at different stages. But we'll first start off with the top. You can then go transfer it onto the EVA foam, so you should have it laid out like this, and then of course go and cut it out. Very simple, very easy. What we're going to do then is heat it up like we did before, and it should be able to kind of form over the lower piece that we did initially. You want to get it to sit flush, so do your best. Then you can glue it into position using the hot glue gun. Now if it doesn't bend all the way over and you have these kind of edges showing, what you can do is just grab a really nice sharp blade and actually just shave off that ½ an inch or whatever it may be so it all sits flush. Then we can grab the lower section, the part you can see on screen, and we're going to start transferring these lines across. There isn't much detail to do here, so all you can do is grab a small sharp edge, hint me using the Pokemon card. Hey, they're easy and they're very small and they provide a straight line, so it's effective. And what you're going to do is you're going to transfer all the lines you can see on the pattern onto the EVA foam itself. You can just free draw these, you don't really need any template assistance, it's easy enough to do. What you can do then is grab a nice sharp blade and we're going to score the foam. Now you've done this in previous episodes, so you should be a pro at it by now. And once you've done that, of course, we will go ahead and do the heat gun treatment. But we're not going to do that just yet. We're actually going to do that at the end once we've got all the scoring done on the design in its entirety. So what we can do now is we can start working on the top section. Now, to start off the top section layout, because there is quite a bit of technique here, we're going to transfer a line like you can see on screen to the top part there. Then we can cut out the template and we're going to start slowly transferring all the lines on. Now you want this to be as symmetrical as possible because of course you're going to see this ab plate in pretty much every single photo you do, so if it's a bit lopsided then it just takes away from the costume as a whole. So slowly break apart the template as I'm doing on screen and slowly transfer across all those individual lines. It shouldn't be too difficult, you're just going to have to be constantly aware of where you're cutting, but in the end, take your time and you will get them all transferred across like so. And that's the hard part out of the way. So now you've got the fun job, which at the end is a really fun job, is when you score. So you're going to take your time, score all the lines needed, and then take the heat gun to it and everything should separate, giving you a really nice, actually that does look really nice, a really nice design like that. Where all the lines separate and it'll allow you to get detail in which you didn't see before. Now we can start on the butt plate. Now the butt plate is a very easy one to do, and we're going to do it in a way that saves you time, saves you money, and saves you foam. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it in one layer. So transfer the template onto the foam like you can see on screen, and then what we can do is we can actually cut out the piece and we're going to transfer the lower section of the template onto the design. So cut it out like I've just shown you and draw that little, I wouldn't know what shape that is, I'm bad with shapes, draw that shape onto the actual design itself. Then we're going to heat up the whole piece and you want to bend it over the top part of your butt because obviously that's where it's going to be sitting. So you want to give it a kind of like 3D form so it should just sit there nicely. Now you don't actually have to do this piece if you don't want to. I mean, it's going to be on the back of you, so you're never really going to see it in any photo. This is only if you really want to, just as a costume in general, adding to the costume in general. And then what we've done is we've grabbed the template and we're transferring those outer lines that go around the perimeter onto the design itself, which shouldn't be hard. All you're doing is cutting out those that ½ inch of the perimeter line, and then you can go ahead and score it. Scoring, my actual favorite part of any costume making, because this is where everything seems to have a nice little trick. Once you've scored that, of course, go ahead and heat it up. Now we have to, of course, remove this lower section. So what we're going to do is a very simple technique, which you've done previously in other tutorials, is we're going to cut it out and then we're just going to glue it back into position, but this time a few millimeters deeper so that it gives it a kind of terraced effect, so it's a bit more 3D. But that pretty much is done and dusted. That's the abdomen and the butt plate all sorted for you. So that's it. Hopefully you guys managed to follow along and you now have two nice pieces, one for the butt and one for the abs. Of course, in episode 10, my assembly, I will teach you how to actually mount all this to your body so that way it can sit nicely. At the moment, I'm just using a belt, but that's pretty much what I did for my actual costume anyway, just because it sits and holds nicely, both in photo shoots and walking around in costume. But otherwise, I will see you in episode 5, where we go ahead and tackle the shoulder piece. My name's Andrew DFT. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you later.